What's on that Friday? Or not the 8th, I meant the 15th. That's the weekend you were talking about everything, right?
So on the 15th.
Can you hear me now? Because I'm hearing an echo. You guys can hear me.
Yeah.
And there's no echo?
Got a little echo. Got a little technical difficulties here to start us, but can't beat this view up here. Thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to get this worked out. Oh,
hey, look, this is what we're going to do. Talk to you guys first off from up here at the Westgate Luxury Condominiums right outside of Bryant Denny Stadium, and we're going to talk about this game, Trey. He's Trey Yanity. I'm Mick Gillespie, and we're doing this. Look at the camera right now outside of the stadium, the camera there. You get to see all of the views of everything that's going on. So it's a lot of fun to kind of think about what we're doing and the fact that we're sitting outside of the stadium and talking about Alabama football. Big win today, a bounce-back game after the little bit of a disappointment, the hitch that they ran into last week against Florida.
Yeah, I mean, this was a game that Alabama needed to come out and prove, we're still Alabama. It was a hitch. It was a game that Alabama wanted to dominate a little bit more than they did. But they went to the Swamp last week, got a big victory down there, came home, and continued to prove why they're the number one team in the country. And, Mick, you look around the country today, there's not really any other teams you look at that are even close at this point. We're going to get through the stats today, some unbelievable numbers. Bryce Young, I would assume maybe moves back into that front-runner position in the Heisman race. A lot to get into tonight. How are you doing? It's been too long, Mick. I think it's the first time we've been together since the national title last year.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but it's good to see you. The last time we were hanging out was over at Rounders on the Strip, and that was a lot of fun. And here we are outside of the stadium. What a performance by Bryce Young today. Another huge game for the Alabama freshman QB or sophomore QB. 20 of 22, he was just about flawless, 5 touchdowns and an interception, 312 yards. And he got thrown down. I was a little worried. He got that sack, got right back up and kept on trucking.
I mean, this kid is just so resilient. And, again today, we see the decision-making take another step forward, which is something I can't believe I'm saying right now. And, you see him get taken down there. You see the interception at the end that you could blame on any number of things. Probably not Bryce Young on that throw there. But, he gets back up and he continues to perform at a very high level. This team in general, you look at both sides of the football today, really no complaints on either side. You look at that defense, at the beginning of the game, Henry To'oTo'o, maybe a little bit step behind, you could say, but he caught up in the rest of this defense. Look at DeMarco Hellams tonight, making a statement, getting that interception there. All the way around, Mick. This is a great performance. And I think this team is just going to keep rolling. Another big one next week. But, good to see them come out and really dominate tonight, led by Bryce Young yet again.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's try to take some calls. I know that you guys are out there wondering what's going on and want to talk about this Alabama game. You're thinking about Ole Miss next week. We can finally talk about it officially and it not being rat poison. But let's go to the phone, see if this works. Welcome to the Bama Insider postgame show. Who's this and where are you calling from?
What's going on, fellas? This is Jarek from Buffalo.
Hey, what's up, Jarek? What'd you think of the game?
Much better. I would definitely say much better performance compared to last week. Now, it is Southern Miss, and there's really not a lot of things to kind of just harp on. I would say because it is Southern Miss. It's not we're not playing. We're kind of playing the wrong Miss. In order for us to kind of judge that, we got to wait till next week. But some of the things that I liked was I liked how we were, we kept the intensity. We didn't really, you didn't feel like we didn't, it felt like we brought it up. We brought it. We brought the heat. We brought the passion there today. So that's the first thing I kind of liked about it. I also kind of like the fact that we got the run game more involved. I know a lot of Bama fans wanted the run game to be more involved, so I'm glad that we were able to get that more involved. It seemed like we were able to be a little bit more aggressive in the run game. Javon Cohen, I thought, had a really good game. He kind of gave up the sack, but yeah, he was great in the interior. So I love that. Love the kind of aggressiveness there. Jamison Williams had a great game. I wanted to see if we can make some explosive plays in the return game, and we saw some explosive plays in both the punt return and the kick return game for JoJo Earl and Jamison Williams. So I love that. That was kind of bringing a new dynamic to the team. I would say some of the things that I would like to see get better. I would love for our linebackers to get better, especially in pass cover situations. There should be no reason at all that we're giving up the team 3 times. That has been the Achilles heel for Alabama really the past couple of seasons. What Ole Miss loves to do better than anybody else is that they know how to attack the middle of the field. They know how to attack the team to get their tight ends and receivers in the slot into open spaces. So we got to do a better job of getting better into depth, really learning our assignments in man. And I will also definitely say for our corners, is that for Josh Jobe, for the love of God, can you please turn around and locate the ball? Josh Jobe literally could have had 3 interceptions. Our quarterbacks, man, could have had at least 5 turnovers over the last 2 to 3 weeks if they could just turn around and find the football. They're in the right positions, just got to turn around and find the football. But overall wise, pretty good performance. Again, some more things we got to clean up on. I would love, for our offensive line to protect Bryce Young a little bit better. But, compared to what the message that Will Anderson said, that we got to, kind of live up to the Bama standard, I feel like we're off to a good start so far, and hopefully we'll continue that next week against Ole Miss.
Hey, Jarek, always great comments. And, Trey and I both kind of enjoy getting your calls and talking to you. But, yeah, I mean, let me just pick up a couple of those things and let's Trey and I kind of grind on them as we wait on Kyle, and he'll bring the Nick Saban post-game press conference. But look, he said he would like to see the linebackers kind of be a little bit better for Alabama. I saw it. There were a couple times in this game where you felt like, hey, if they, maybe make a play here a little bit quicker. But all in all, I thought their intensity was really good this week.
No, it was. And, the message in practice this week that everybody really had that good energy throughout the week. And I think it comes down to Henry Toto with that group. You watch him almost at times having to try to over-communicate with his defense. And, when he does that, he doesn't have a chance to do what he needs to do, get ready for the play correctly. And you saw it a couple times tonight. Christian Harris blitz coming in on the left side. And Henry Toto was just maybe a step or two behind getting back. And it led to a first down and a big play. I'm with you, Jarek. I think they have to tune some things up in the middle of the field if they're going to take down an Ole Miss offense like the one that we've been able to see so far this season. We talk about the Heisman race, Matt Corral versus Bryce Young next week, too. It's a big week for this defense. I think they're going to step up there. And, overall, to kind of elaborate on the word dynamic, I love what you brought up about the way that Bryce Young and this tight end group looked tonight. It's dynamic. You can go to Cameron Latu. You can go to Jaleel Billingsley. You have so many different options now. And the way that they're able to utilize that and kind of hide some of those guys, it's beautiful. But like you said, Jared, they're going to have to, maybe raise the level of energy and intensity just a little bit for Ole Miss. Or, it could be a barn burner like we saw last season.
Yeah. I think you brought up a good point about our tight ends. We finally saw the two tight end sets involved in passing situations. I was wondering when we were going to see it. We saw it in spring, and we were able to see it today. You saw the kind of the involvement there. You kind of saw that we used our size in the slot, those mismatches against their safeties. Couldn't handle our tight ends in those type of situations. I love the fact how we're kind of expanding the offense. We're expanding the offense. We're adding more things into the playbook weekly. I love that. I think that next week against a team like Ole Miss that does have the athletes to kind of keep up with our receivers. I know last week we had a bad time, going against physical defensive backs. We had a horrible time when they tried to jam our receivers. We had a hard time there, and it caused a disruption. Against Ole Miss, a very similar situation. They got physical guys. They got big, strong physical guys that can definitely jam our receivers a little bit there. So having the tight ends involved in the middle, I feel like will be good. Those two tight end sets could be good there, especially in the run department. Cameron Latu has improved a lot as a run blocker. I think the same thing like Jalil. I love the involvement in our tight ends there.
To kind of elaborate on that just a little bit further, Jarek, you think about it, this is the first time we've really gotten to see the full extent of the offense. And, it was an offense today without Brian Robinson. And you talked about this running back group. Everybody else looked really good. And I think that makes you excited a little bit, just the way that they're able to work in so many different guys. And like you said, to be able to see Cameron Latu get out and block in space and have the hands throughout the game as well, it's going to be crucial for this season because this receiving core is deep. I've talked about it a lot into this season, but they are young and, they're going to need some time to get adjusted.
Oh, yeah. And there's one thing that I also have to say, too, because I know a lot of fans will probably rip off the Henry T, and I get it. A lot of people would love to see the rotation of Jalen Moody, including their defense. I'm going to give Henry a little bit of a break here, is that remember, he came in there in the summer. This is a very complex defense. It is not easy to learn at all. And with the amount of different calls, different signals, especially when you're the primary play caller, Henry T is going to be put in a very, uncomfortable situation that he's got to be able to learn. He's got to be able to learn fast. I think Henry's biggest problem is that he's thinking too much. He's thinking too much and he's not letting the flow of the game really come to him, right? For the most part, his biggest strength while he was at Tennessee was that he was simply just the guy to fill in the gap. He used his size, used his athleticism, his speed to just quickly go in there and fill in the gap, fill in the holes, and become an excellent run stopper. I think now his role, he has to do so many multiple things. He has to be the primary play caller. He has to, make those type of adjustments. He has to play in coverage. He has to play in coverage. He has to play in man more. He has to try to fill in the gap a little bit more there. So I know that Bama fans are a little bit more upset with his performance, but I feel like we need to give a little bit more time. I think next week is going to be a very, very hard test for Henry, because I know Lane Kiffin is going to be looking at the film, and they're going to look how confused our linebackers were in those passing and rushing type of situations. And they're going to try to attack and try to expose it, especially over the middle where the seam was exposed. So, overall wise, I think that this is, there's not really a lot to take away from this game. But one big thing that I definitely can say is that we need to improve there at the linebacking position. I think we need to give these guys a little bit more time. But I feel like it's great film for Nick Saban, Pete Golden to kind of work with these guys, and so these guys can get ready and prepared for a very difficult test against Ole Miss.
Hey, Jarek, always great comments, man. Roll Tide and catch up with us tomorrow night. We got another show. We're going to take your calls at 6 o'clock, and it's always great to hear from you.
Oh, yeah, Roll Tide. Have a good night, fellas.
Thanks, Jarek. Always a great caller. He could sit up here, Trey, with us and do this, man. He really brings the heat. But let's go back to the phone lines again and talk to some more of you guys as we get ready for Kyle to join us in the Nick Saban post-game press conference. Alabama with a convincing win tonight. You talk about a 63-14 final. Alabama pushing with all three quarterbacks in the game. Jalen Melrose came in and got a touchdown at the end. That was cool to see.
And, how excited was he about it? You see a 56-14 game at the time. Maybe a player's not going to get that hype about a touchdown. I love the energy. He comes in, throws his first career touchdown, and is just, livid about it. And Javon Baker on the other end, too, there. I would like to see a little bit more Javon Baker. But, all the way around, this quarterback room is just so deep.
Yeah, Javon Baker, I've been wanting to see him, and we got to see him and Melrose at the end of the game. So hopefully they'll, break in and get some more playing time. All right, let's go back to the phones. Who's this and where you calling from?
Just Stapleton from Alabama.
Well, how you doing, man? What are you thinking?
I'm happy. I'm happy about the score. That was pretty good. I mean, that was 14 points, but hey, if I scored 63, what was it? That's pretty good. And getting ready for Ole Miss coming up. But I had something to say about that. I think they're overconfident because they're talking a lot of smack right now. How they just don't come into Alabama and do what they want to do. No, it ain't gonna be like that. You're gonna have to fight for it if you want it. So that's how I see it. I think they're a little overconfident. And I think they're just kind of when they come in Tuscaloosa and you hear that crowd noise. When the defense starts waving their hands and bring up that crowd noise, it's going to be a whole different ball game. All it takes is a couple of mistakes to make it a bad ball game and a long day for Ole Miss. What do you think about that?
Look, I think when Ole Miss gets here, they're going to be in for the same treatment that Alabama got down in Florida, Trey. I mean, they're going to have to deal with our crowd, and this wasn't even really a big game. And you can see the cam right now as we talk to you from Westgate Luxury Condominiums right next to Bryant-Denny Stadium out on the street as people file out. But this isn't even this is just a taste of what Ole Miss is going to see. And they're not coming in here to surprise anybody. They're not sneaking up on anybody. This is going to be a battle next week.
So it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to, maybe not be the shootout that we saw last season, but this game is going to be a really good one. And, tonight's game was under the lights. That adds a whole new element of the atmosphere and everything else. Next week's game, we'll have some of that at the end, but it's going to be a little bit of a different feel. And, Jeff, thanks for getting on the line, man. Love your energy all week. One of our most positive commenters, great stuff there over the phone lines. But, I think you're right all the way. There is no atmosphere like Bryant-Denny Stadium when this place is full, when this place is rocking. I think at times, it's not that into the second half. That was the case today. This game was, 45-7, 42-7 at the half. A lot of people left. But next week, Ole Miss, that one could come down to the wire. And I think these fans, the energy will stay in this building. And I think it's going to have to because that will be a test. Lane Kiffin, has his finger on the pulse over here and, is prepared for this game. So excited to see it. Jeff, what was your favorite part tonight?
Last year had some good plays. Really, he had that touchdown in the end zone was really good. where he caught that long bomb. That was really good. And Jameson Williams, that dude's something else. I mean, he stepped over down the sideline and got a touchdown. And, yeah. What I really wanted to say is that crowd noise. We got 110,000 people in Alabama Stadium. Like 110,000, something like that. Anyway, I think that crowd noise is going to still them. It's going to give them a taste of that medicine what they gave us last year. And whenever the defense gets real hype, they're going to bring that crowd noise up so much that he ain't going to hear nothing. I hope to get a strip. I hope to get a fumble. I hope to get an interception, something. You know, because if you can't hear, you can't use any kind of the play. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm just happy that Alabama did have a good game tonight. You know, and showed out.
Hey, well, great call. Yeah. Roll Tide, man. Let's talk tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, man. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Y'all have a good one. And we getting ready for Ole Miss, and they better be ready for us. Hey, y'all.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines again. It's 205-850-0883. And for those of you that don't know, I've got two of you in my ear right now. It is a terrible echo, so please make your comments.
Oh, man.
And let's just keep on trucking. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sam from Alabama, man.
What's up? What are you thinking?
Hey, man, I think they improved today, but, you know, they still got a lot to work on. I think what their Achilles heel could be throughout the season is their defense, sadly to say, and the offensive line. The defense got to be a little bit more consistent at tackling and getting off the field on third downs. And I'm not sure if DeMarco Hellens lost his job today because he missed a tackle on defense that led to their first touchdown. Just as last week, he missed a tackle. He could have made a tackle that would have got Alabama off the field last week on that 99-yard drive. So, you know, he may have lost his job. I'm not sure. We'll see next week. But Bryce Young looked pretty good, man. He looks really good. It's just the offensive line has to keep him upright, man. This guy's been getting hit a lot. He got hit as much in 4 games as Mac Jones did last year throughout the whole season, in my opinion. So, and Will Rocket didn't miss that Mick. Will Rocket didn't miss that field goal 2 weeks ago against Mercer. That was on the hold, man. The Laces got to be out, Mick.
Yeah, look, I know you're right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and it's really sad to think that field goal streak had to come to an end at some point, but it did, and the extra point streak is still coming, so it's been fun to watch. And you know, we got to thank here in the comments Devin DPIs of the super chat. Thank you so much, man. It was a well played game tonight. Let us know where you're coming from. Love the thumbnail there. Emoji, I don't even know what to call these things anymore, but thank you for the super chat and thank you for the call as well. But you know, all good points, and I think we're going to continue to talk about and continue to hear calls about Bryce Young because it really couldn't have gotten that much better tonight. You know, get in the comments, guys. Let us know what you're thinking about what your favorite part of the performance was. Personally, I say this every week, Mick, but it's the decision making. I mean, he continues to make all the right decisions under duress, you know, maybe when he has time, whatever the case. Obviously, it's a well-written playbook by Bill O'Brien, but the kid is just continuing to get smarter. And, you know, this team is, you know, really succeeding because of it.
Yeah, another great call. And you guys that are calling in right now, bringing the heat as we talk to you after Alabama's convincing win over Southern Miss today, 63-14. And you got to remember, guys, there was a time when Southern Miss used to beat Alabama. I was at the game. I saw it happen, not once but twice. They beat them 5 times over the year. So I mean, like this, and it's kind of a tale of two different programs. One program is at the top, and one program has fallen down. I mean, a couple years ago, Southern Miss didn't win a football game. But let's go back to the phone lines again. Let's try to get everyone in before Kyle jumps back on and gives us the Nick Saban post-game press conference. Who is this? And where are you calling from? What are you thinking about tonight?
Yeah, this is Mike calling out of Jacksonville.
Well, roll tide.
Yeah, roll tide. I hear some background noise back there. That's what's kind of distracting, but I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can. You should hear our headsets right now.
You might be
There's
hearing
3 of you right now. But
just
just talk, because I guess everybody else, it sounds normal, but to us, it's like we're in a cave.
Yeah. What I wanted to say was I've got a couple of comments. Number one is they're going to have to look at Henry Toa, and they're going to have to look at maybe switching him and Harris around. Moving Harris back. I know Harris played a bad game in Florida, but it seems like the play calling itself on the field is delayed, and you're not going to be able to do that against Ole Miss. But here's the catch that I've been telling everybody since last year. I said that Odom, defensive coordinator for Arkansas, has drawn up a blueprint to shut down Ole Miss or the spread. And people laughed at me. And you can see today that Arkansas is for real. And so if Coach Saban and the rest of, Pete Golden and everybody else, they need to look at that. They need to look at Arkansas's defense and see how they set up, because I'm telling you, it kills the spread. And I mean, if you watch the game today, Arkansas was all over. Texas A&M couldn't do anything, And so with that said, that's just one aspect. I know I hear all these people talking about what Ole Miss is going to do. But Alabama, the defense is going to have to clean up, and they're going to have to do a better job, especially leaving the middle open. And so I'm almost hoarse right now, screaming at the TV, where they leave the middle open, and they also kind of leave the edge open at times, And you're not going to be able to do that against Ole Miss. And so that's all I got tonight. But I'm, hopefully Coach Saban and Pete Golden can go in there and make some changes, and hopefully we'll get a win next week.
Hey, great call. Roll Tide.
Yeah, and, really good points there, because the one weak point tonight was that linebacker room. And, maybe it is switching Christian and Henry To'oTo'o, like Mike was saying just a minute ago there. But, something maybe does need to change. And I think with this defense at times it becomes, really difficult, complex schemes, kind of mixing up with a lot of aggression and these guys trying to play so perfectly that maybe it's overthought at times. And Henry To'oTo'o almost tries to overlead her, if you know what I'm saying there. He has such a big role in this defense as a communicator, and, a big role with his spot as well, that I think at times he tries to do a little bit too much with his communication, doesn't focus on his role as much. I think these things are all easily adjustable, and, maybe it's just telling this defense, get a little bit less aggressive and maybe let the play come to you a little bit more, and maybe that's the fix there. I don't know what it is, but I'm with you, Mike. Maybe something needs to get changed up a bit before Ole Miss comes to town next week.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines again, guys, as we talk about Alabama's win 63-14 over Southern Miss. Who's this and where are you calling from?
This is Robert from Mobile.
Hey, what's up, Robert?
Hey, the game came out quite well. Bryce Young was just spot on point tonight. I mean, the guy was just perfect almost. I hate he had to eat an interception that wasn't his fault, but that's how it goes sometimes as quarterback. It counts as an interception for you, even though you did everything you could do but hand the guy the ball. But I mean, he was just his decision making was great. Even when he didn't, although he didn't run, his movement in the pocket was good enough to where it made more sense, not to try to take off and run when you got a ball tight end running wide open across the middle. Yeah, you throw your tight end the ball, let him do his thing. And he made a lot of those decisions. He dropped dimes all over the place. The first touchdown in the corner in the end zone was just, a perfect pass. So he was definitely spot on. He's getting the best player on the team, and he's showing it. And I agree with the guy with about the defense. it was, of course, it was better. It wasn't quite lights out as we wanted to be. The few plays in across the middle they allowed, that we definitely need to clean up. But overall, the game was quite well. Definitely pleased with the offense. Jameson Williams, again, I think it's the first time anyone's ever returned 2 touchdowns in the same game. But in Alabama, I've never seen it. So, and that was fun to watch. And but it definitely seems like Rice is getting a good feel for the team, for the players, on how what kind of passes to throw to them, what kind of speed they have, that kind of thing. And I do like the 2 tight end set. That looks almost unbeatable. Latu and Billingsley can be a combo that it's going to be tough for defenses to handle if you give them the right route. Those guys can turn into our 2-headed monster on tight end because they are big playmakers at tight end. Definitely like to see that more often. I hope we kill Ole Miss with that next weekend. I think this game against Ole Miss, it's going to go. This is a game for the SEC West. The winner of this, I think, wins the West because I don't see any of these 2 teams losing the rest of the game. Auburn will be lucky to win 6 games this season, from what I saw today. LSU is up and down, usually down. So Arkansas, can be the monkey wrench in for either team, but they can out-talent Arkansas. Both can out-talent Arkansas, although Arkansas is definitely a threat. They're a great team. They're a good team now. But I think this game next weekend with Ole Miss goes for the SEC West and possibly even for the Heisman Trophy. The 2 quarterbacks are head and shoulders above the rest of QBs in the country right now. So this game next weekend, it doesn't get any bigger with Ole Miss.
Robert, great call. We got an echo, so we're going to drop you, but call back tomorrow night. We're going to do the Sunday night call-in show. He's Trey Yanity. I'm Mick Gillespie, and we're sitting out here at the Sky Deck Westgate Luxury Condominiums right outside of Bryant-Denny Stadium. He made a couple of good points that I think we need to talk about. Robert always brings the heat from down in Mobile, and he's saying, hey, next week's game could be for the West. Arkansas could possibly throw a monkey wrench in this. If you would have told me that it would be Arkansas and Ole Miss being the 2 teams in this division, which is the toughest division in college sports, right? The West of the SEC, I would have said you're crazy. Yeah. But after watching the games the last few weeks, wow, he's right.
I mean, there's a renaissance of college football. And you look at a team like Arkansas and Sam Pittman and what they're able to do on defense right now. It is truly a miracle looking at what that program had 2 years ago. And, you talk about Ole Miss. That was a team you maybe could have pegged preseason that maybe, would be in this position, maybe not at this early in the season, because like Cartire is saying, they haven't necessarily had an opponent that has stunned you yet, but it's really about what Ole Miss is doing and the numbers they're putting up and just watching how comfortable Matt Corral looks with that offense. And, it's going to be interesting to see how Alabama reacts to that. And to go back to a point a second ago, Cartire, maybe not let the play come to you as much as have a better understanding of how the play is developing before you overcommit yourself, because there were times tonight where Henry To'oTo'o was just a little bit out of position, committing a bit too hard before he had an understanding of where the play was developing. But, overall, I think this defense is truly going to be challenged, not for the first time this season. We saw that last week, but maybe challenged a little bit more than what we saw last week. This offense is dynamic. As a whole, I'm not necessarily convinced on Ole Miss quite yet, but, you look at the history of this series and, it's always been an interesting game. Lane Kiffin, year number 2 versus Nick Saban at Ole Miss, a very, very solid offense. It's gonna be a fun one. Excited to see how that one goes, but really excited to get back up here at Westgate. What an unbelievable spot to get to do this post-game show. Been great meeting with Jillian, everybody here. Westgate has truly been an excellent host so far, but let's get back to the phone lines.
Hey, guys, look, like and subscribe. Give us the thumbs up as you hang out with us, and we appreciate all of you guys for being here with us tonight as we talk about this Alabama game and, try to figure out, how things are going to go for Alabama next week against Ole Miss. We'll go back to the phone lines one more time. And remember, we got a little reverb, so just make your comment and know that when you're finished talking, we're going to cut you off. Nothing personal. Who's this and where are you calling from?
You already know it's David Gaines calling from the Mecca, baby, from Bruton, Alabama. What's going on?
Hey, great to hear from you. Roll Tide.
Feel good. Roll Tide. What's going on, Mickey G?
What's up? I love Bruton.
Hey, look, it's been a while since I talked to you. I've been down and COVID had me, and let's just say I got a new perspective on life.
Well, that's great, man. I'm glad you got through it. I know it's been a tough go for some people, and we lost some of our buddies to COVID, so it's a real deal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I lost a lot of friends myself. I wanted to talk to you about, man, that's number one. I tell you what, Jamison Williamson, whoo, he's fast, and I ain't seen nobody this year in front of him. He's always been in front of everybody else, and you can't catch that boy.
He's like the road runner. He gets out, and all you see is just dust.
Speedy Gonzalez.
That's right. That's true. Man, look, everybody's talking about Heisman. Hey, if he keeps doing this, he must be a Heisman.
Look, Bryce Young's getting talk for the Heisman, and all he does every week is just prove everyone that kind of believes in him right. And another huge performance today.
Yes, sir. He did. I mean, he did a real good job today. Consistency, accuracy, you know what I'm saying? Man, I tell you what, the boy looks good. And it's getting scary because he don't have what you call a window. He has a ceiling, you know what I'm saying? And it's just steady going up.
Robert, the last caller said that next week could be a battle for the Heisman with Corral and with Bryce. I mean, that could happen.
No doubt. I mean, you look at a lot of these Heisman races in the past, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes it is the head-to-head matchup between the two contenders that determines who gets the trophy. So it's going to be really interesting to watch. All good stuff there on that call as well. We got some Wilson chants going on. I feel like I'm in Castaway right now. This is wild. But, I really think this atmosphere – what's that?
It's going to be very interesting. You think about it, man. We look at our defense and – yeah, sometimes teams get a little bit up on them and everything. And we was talking about, I heard y'all talking about Tua. I think the boy's gonna be all right. That playbook is expensive, and it's hard to learn. And he's the quarterback. And back to what Bryce Young has to do, being consistent. Tua has to do the same thing on the other end of the field. And like he's gonna grow too. I think Alabama's gonna be pretty good against Ole Miss. A lot of plays I didn't see, a lot of lineups that was kind of different. Defensive strategies didn't look the same. So I think Nick Saban's holding a little bit back, but he's coaching them boys play by play. It's all about us, not them. It's about us. So don't play the other team. Play our team. Be the best that you can be on the field. I really like how Alabama looking. It looked pretty good.
Hey, great call. Roll Tide, and don't forget tomorrow at 6 o'clock we'll have our call-in show, our Sunday night call-in show. We'd love to hear from you again.
I got your back.
Great call there. Yeah. Cracks me up, man. Love that guy.
I know. What a guy.
Hey, I think he's right. 2020. I still believe. I think he's going to be a really good player, and I think that Alabama's lucky to have someone that is able to quarterback their defense.
No, he's just so talented. I mean, we knew coming into this season that he was going to need a little bit of an adjustment period, but he was coming from another SEC school where he did lead that team in tackles for 2 seasons in a row. We know he has the talent, and, I don't think that looking at these past few games, you can blame it on, the skill set at all. I think it's just sometimes things are a little bit overcomplicated. He's trying to communicate too much, but he'll figure it out. I think this linebacker room is going to continue to figure it out. I'd like to see Jalen Moody a little bit more. Maybe you flip him with Henry To'oTo'o every now and then. I don't know, but I'd like to see him get into the mix. But, I want to ask you guys in the comments, too, what worries you? We've heard a lot about the linebackers tonight. What about the DBs? Is that maybe the weak point in your mind? Obviously, this line has looked pretty good so far, but what are you guys thinking?
All right, let's go back to the phone lines some more as we wait on Kyle Henderson and the Nick Saban post-game press conference after Alabama's 63-14 win over Southern Miss. All right, back to the phones. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Mick, it's Cam Best out here in Brunswick, Georgia. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? Roll Tide.
Hey, roll Tide, roll, man. Hey, it's good to always see Alabama win, man. I tell you what. But, listen, man, next week when we play Ole Miss, we're going to have to score big again, man. this Alabama team is going to have to score a lot of points next Saturday to get the win at Ole Miss. We're going to be playing a good quarterback in Matt Corral. And let me tell you something, they're going to be ready, man. They're going to have 2 weeks under their belt to prepare for Alabama. And, man, I'm just ready. I think it's going to be a great game, one of those historical games that, we always see with 2 great teams. But Bryce Young is really going to have to show his stuff next Saturday.
Look, next Saturday is going to be a war.
It's going to be a battle, and I'm just so excited for SEC football to come back to Bryant-Denny Stadium. We've gotten a taste so far. Mercer and Southern Miss bring some good crowds, but I think Ole Miss is going to bring a really good crowd. Excited for the atmosphere again here, and just excited to see this team continue to work through this season. Last season, there wasn't as much of a struggle at times. Obviously, against Ole Miss, this was the one game that you look back on and you feel a little bit sour about. It's going to be interesting to see if they, come out and try to run similar schemes against this Alabama defense. It's a much different looking defense, so we'll kind of see how they react to all that. But, this one is truly going to be a war. And after Texas A&M goes down today, this is maybe your biggest game left on the schedule. Arkansas obviously making some noise now, but
look, Auburn's always going to be bigger than any game, right? I mean, the Iron Bowl. But let me say this. We don't know what Ole Miss's defense is. We don't know who they really are.
We don't.
We think we know who they are, but we don't. And I think that's the one thing when I'm handicapping the game and it comes out at 17 that Vegas is kind of thinking the same way I'm thinking. There's no way that they went from that terrible defense a year ago that stunk to being a great defense in 1 year. Now they're better. I love DJ Durkin, their defensive coordinator. He's good, but they lost, their best linebacker, their leading tackler to Kentucky. They got some guys in. I just think that they're thin, and I think that Alabama's going to expose that defense. They're going to struggle some. They're going to make some plays. Ole Miss's defense, I think, has the potential to get absolutely embarrassed next week.
I think it's the kind of defense you can wear down.
Yeah.
This is – sorry, go ahead. I forgot we had a caller on the line. That's on me.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the same thing, but – with everything, going so great for Alabama right now, we just don't need to believe the rat boys. We need to treat Ole Miss as if we're playing a national championship next Saturday.
I agree.
If we treat every game like we're in the national championship, I don't think Alabama's going to have a problem. But our offensive line, we have got to make sure that we protect Bryce Young so he can find those throwing lanes and be explosive next Saturday against Ole Miss.
Yep, great call. We got an echo, so I'm going to drop you, but great call. Don't forget, tomorrow, 6 o'clock, our post-game call-in show, our Sunday night call-in show. Would love to hear from you again, and I won't have this echo where I can really hear what you're saying. As you guys listen, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the station. This is the BamaInsider YouTube channel, and also know that we're hanging out at the Westgate Luxury Condominium right here on the Sky Deck looking at Bryant-Denny Stadium. You got the view of Bryant-Denny as everyone's kind of gone now. I mean,
this is a ghost town now.
It is a ghost town. A lot of people left in the fourth quarter when this thing started to turn into a big blowout. And we're still hanging out here waiting on Kyle Henderson to bring the Nick Saban press conference and be able to watch that. All right, let's go back to the phone lines again. And listen, you got to make your comments. It's hard to go back and forth because we are having technical difficulties. So just jump on. Tell us what you think, and we'll probably drop you. And we'll chew up what you said. Who's this and where you coming from? Is this Vince from California?
Yes, sir.
Well, roll tide.
How's it going? Roll tide.
It's going great.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the Ole Miss game, and I honestly don't think Ole Miss is gonna challenge our defense. I think we're going to make up for what we did last year. It's usually like it's an old Nick Saban thing. People try to threaten Nick Saban, and he throws it right back at him. He's not scared. He's not scared of any threat, and he's just going to go straight toward it, and we're going to get that dominant win.
Hey, look, I'm not disagreeing with you, and I'm telling you, and I just said it here a second ago, is that we don't know what Ole Miss's defense is capable of or not. I mean, look, they had a good game against Louisville. They played Tulane, but they haven't played Alabama. Alabama isn't Clemson, isn't Georgia. They have a prolific offense that had one bad half against Florida, but never turned the ball over and still won the football game. And today you saw just how they're able to score, not just on offense, but on special teams, deep passes. Really, the playbook looked really good today. I love the 2 tight end set you were talking about. Billingsley's finally back. Alabama's going to be ready for Ole Miss. I think they're going to be amped up.
Well, not only that, but if you think about it, we've already been tested by Florida's defense. You know, we've already been tested by Florida's offense, Dan Mullen. You know, so we've already been tested by a very good SEC team early. And if you think about it, there's nobody as dominant as Nick Saban and has his team prepared as Nick Saban. Look at Clemson having problems. Look at Georgia. Even though Georgia beat Clemson, they only won what, like 10-3, 10-6 or something? You know, they're not as well prepared as Alabama.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And my hat's
I mean, you know,
off.
this Alabama team is really – I think we're still figuring it out, and we'll keep you on the line here for a second longer if you have any other thoughts. But I think that's all good points. But, you know, I think you look around the country right now, we don't really have a grasp on what a lot of teams are looking like. I think Alabama, you know, is starting to prove themselves here. A huge win last week, and, you know, we continue to see this offense grow and work in more tools. And I think it's going to continue to get better. But, you know, this has just been such a weird season. Who else do you think could even rival Alabama at this point?
I would have said Texas A&M maybe, but they just blew it today. Yeah. I would have said Oklahoma. Oklahoma's undefeated, but they've been blowing it too. So there's really nobody. I mean, people want to talk about Spencer Rattler all they want, but Bryce Young is the real deal.
No doubt about it. I mean, this is, you know, a team that coming into the season we knew was going to have a lot of success on offense. They returned one of the best wide receivers in the country. We had a lot of confidence in the depth of this running back room, but Bryce Young has been everything they've needed him more. Let's get you off the line here and move it along in just a minute. But all great calls so far, guys. Thanks for getting on with us tonight. Like Mick's been saying, we got another show tomorrow night. Get it on there as well. We want to take your calls. A lot to break down. It looks like Kyle is about ready to hop on with us.
Hey, fellas, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
We hear three of you.
You hear 3 of me. Go for the one in the middle.
That's what we're trying to do.
All right. Okay. It looks like you guys might be having an echo. If anyone else is having an echo, you guys just get me off and you guys continue. But Chris, can you throw the stats on the screen real quick? We'll kind of dive through them. Yeah, when we look at the stats, and you can go ahead and zoom in on Bryce Young. Let's just kind of look what he did tonight. So I'm kind of fighting some allergies as, you know, kind of the beautiful weather hits Tuscaloosa. But as you kind of zoom in there, I mean, it was a remarkable performance. I know it's Southern Miss, but let's continue to highlight Bryce Young's just overall efficiency. 20 of 22, 313 yards, 5 touchdowns with 1 interception. Paul Tyson gets in there, 2 of 3, 58 yards, and Jalen Milroe 1 for 1 with 24 yards. When we look at the running backs, Roydell Williams, 11 carries, 100 yards, and then you have Jace McClellan, 12 carries for 97 yards. Trey Sanders had 5 attempts for 12 yards, and then as we scroll down to the receiving category, if we can get down there, Chris, yeah, John Mechie, 7 receptions for 45 yards. Jalil Billingsley, glad to see Billingsley out there doing his thing, 5 receptions for 105 yards. Cam Latu continues to be a solid target for Bryce Young, 3 receptions for 57 yards. And then you also have Jamison Williams down there, 1 reception for 81 yards. I mean, Jamison Williams all over the place. We're going to have his press conference. Spoke to the media, you know, a little bit ago. But here's Nick Saban. I'll load that, you know, following the game. I'm going to put that up right now. It's going to automatically play here in, in 3, 2, 1. Here's Nick Saban following Alabama's victory over Southern Miss.
Pleased with the intensity that our players played with tonight. That's one of the things that, you know, we've been harping on, you know, maintaining intensity for 60 minutes in the game. And I thought we had good energy, and I thought we played with good intensity throughout the game. You know, we made a lot of great plays in the game, made a lot of very good plays in the game. Obviously, there's always things that, you know, you want to improve on. And things that we need to work on, and we'll go to work on that. But this is something that I would like to build on, for our team. I was really excited about the students staying for the game and cheering our players. I know our players really appreciate that. I appreciate it. It sets up a tremendous atmosphere and environment, and it's really good for everyone to see, including recruits that are here and everybody that we have, great support from the students who, we like to play for. That's part of it. University of Alabama means a lot to a lot of people, and we certainly want to represent that in a first-class way, and we appreciate their support.
I think that opening comment says a lot about, the stadium and the atmosphere. If you've been to Bryant-Denny at a night game, it's something special. And credit to the fans who were at the game, and credit to the students, as Nick Saban said. I think that goes a long way for the overall, brand of Alabama football. This is what it's like to be on the top. Don't forget that. Not a lot of programs out there, can emulate what Alabama does on a weekly basis, whether it's Southern Miss, whether it's Mercer, whatever. Be there, support these guys. Here's Nick Saban talking about Jaleel Billingsley. Billingsley, 100 yards tonight. Thought he did a fantastic job. Here's Saban talking about Jaleel Billingsley. I've been telling you, if you followed us for the last 5 years, I've been talking about Billingsley, how excited I am. I think, he has a tremendous ceiling. Here's Coach Saban talking about Billingsley.
Support.
Okay, with that, we'll start with Nick. How have you seen the chemistry between Bryce and Jaleel develop over the past few weeks?
It's great. Jaleel's a really good receiver, and they've practiced a lot together, and, Jaleel's been practicing really well. So I think that's something that, we've wanted to sort of develop, for our team this year, and we're excited about the way it is developing. And Jaleel's made some really good plays, and Bryce made some really good throws to him.
Going to middle with Edwin.
Obviously a big night for Jamison Williams. Could you talk about his importance to this team, and also that his confidence and how he's adjusted to playing here at Alabama?
Yeah, he's been great. He works hard. He's a hard worker. He's a great competitor. He always wants to play on special teams. He wants to do as much as he can to help the team. I call guys like him, you've heard the term before, he's a dog. He loves playing. He plays hard. He plays fast. He's got great speed. And I think that's one of the things that we loved about him and getting him here was he complemented our other guys because he gave us a great vertical threat, someone who could stretch the field. Not that we don't have other guys that can do it, but he has a lot of experience. Obviously, the kickoff returns 2 in one game was some kind of record, I'm sure. He's dangerous back there. And I think that, JoJo had 2 great punt returns today too, and they both got called back because of penalties, which, our players have to learn how to play penalty free. And but Jamison has been a real plus for our team and for the receiving corps.
All right, that was Nick Saban talking about Jamison Williams along with Jaleel Billingsley. I thought those guys did a fantastic job. Also have Bryce Young's press conference. I'm going to play that. You can watch all these press conferences in their entirety on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Here's Bryce Young following his fantastic performance, throwing for 5 touchdowns. Threw his first interception tonight. He's going to talk about that. Had a laugh. Jamison Williams felt it was on him. Bryce Young felt it was on him. Here's Bryce Young following the game.
It definitely makes my job a lot easier. Jaleel is someone that's super dynamic, super explosive, like you said. And, you have to see week by week how people are going to play him. And, for him to be contributing definitely makes our offense a lot better.
Go ahead.
Bryce, on your that first interception of the season, kind of had a little smile on the field. What was going through your head after that?
Yeah, just kind of disappointed myself. We always preach 100% ball security. We never want to turn the ball over. And, up until that point, we had done that, and that ball was behind. That's something that's pretty inexcusable. So, for me, I tried to, I was a little upset at myself, so I just tried to smile it off. We have to get back to the next play. But, we talk about 100% ball security, making sure we don't give the ball back. And that wasn't something I was able to get done tonight. So I have to get better at that.
Well, actually, Coach said it wasn't your fault. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that from Coach. But, for me, I still feel like, I could have made it a lot easier I could have made the catch a lot easier for JMO. And, and also one of the things was right after JMO immediately said, dang, my fault, I got to catch that. And for him to say that, no, and him to show that competitor. And I was thinking the same thing, it was on me. So I think we both, everyone knows it. We got to improve again each week. Our goal is to not turn the ball over, and collectively we can get that done, and that starts with me. So we got to improve on that.
Aaron and then
All right, let's see if we can bring back Trey and Mick. Can you guys hear me? Is there echo?
Yeah, I think we got you. You got us all right?
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear one Kyle.
One Kyle, not three.
The crazy thing is that you guys couldn't tell that we had the echo in our ears, but we fixed it.
I mean, look at that setup. My goodness. I mean, and if we can get like camera 3 in there right there, I mean, look at that camera. I mean, that's a nice angle of Bryant-Denny Stadium. So, thank you very much to Westgate, and thank you very much for hitting the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I know you guys were taking some calls, and I know we were looking at the stats and kind of going back and forth. And, Mick, I'll kind of toss it back to you as kind of host of this. But, yeah, it was great to hear Saban and Bryce Young. I mean, we also have Jameson Williams, press conference. Trey, if you want to take care of that and get that up on the YouTube channel, I appreciate that. Yeah. It was great to hear from them, and I think overall it was a solid game. I think that was kind of the game that we were looking for.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good old-fashioned country butt whooping. That's what they call it down here.
that is a way to put it right there.
Yeah.
I mean, this game went in Alabama's way from the jump. Sometimes you hear the phrase, you look up and one team's way ahead of the other. Well, this game, it was literally that. From the jump, the opening kickoff, Alabama came out and dominated. How about Bryce Young? How humble does this kid get? The ball should have been caught. I should have thrown it better. Come on. This kid is too much at this point.
Yeah, I think when I look kind of to the positives and to the notes that I wrote down from this game, I mean, it was interesting. I'm kind of eager to find out kind of the what's going on with Trey Sanders. I mean, now he's fourth in the running back room. I mean, he could be fifth if Kamar Wheaton wasn't injured. I mean, so we still don't know what happened to Kamar Wheaton. And we don't know why Trey Sanders keeps falling down in the depth chart. And look, and maybe that's not an issue because Brian Robinson, he didn't play tonight. And you wouldn't even known it. I mean, Jace McClellan did his thing, and Roydell Williams ran like he was angry, over 100 yards. About him and Jace, honestly, very similar type running backs. I think they did a great job, both running down, field hard. Yeah, Trey, go ahead, break out, man, do your thing. So I really like kind of the running game. I mean, it's kind of tough to gauge a game like this because it's against Southern Miss. I don't think these two teams should even play each other just because they're. I mean, lopsided. I mean, we already had that Mercer game, right? Now we have this Southern Miss game.
Hey, Brett Favre did go to Southern Miss. Now, Kyle, you got to give him some credit.
Yeah,
here.
but still, come on, you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm ready for this game against Ole Miss. Now let's start talking about this Ole Miss game. I kept on saying I didn't want to, eat the rat poison and overlook this game, but then when Southern Miss, they came out in the field, I was like, oh my goodness, this one's gonna get ugly.
It did get ugly too. I mean, like this, this is what kind of the bad part about college football. I mean, you don't get this in the NFL, where you have a team that's that inferior showing up to play against a team that's that dominant, with what Alabama's able to do. But Alabama was focused today. You said something to me, Kyle, about, Alabama being angry. They played angry today. I mean, I agree. I didn't really think that at the time. I thought, what is that a thing? Yeah, it was a thing today. I mean, they went in there today to just destroy someone. That they heard about it all week, and they came out today very focused on doing the little things right. And they accomplished that, and now we have the showdown against Ole Miss. I'm wondering if Ole Miss is going to be able to fulfill their end of the bargain, because I can guarantee Alabama is going to be ready next week.
Yeah, you know what, Chris, if we can look at those defensive stats, if you just hit the defensive tab, and we'll just kind of look at some defensive statistics from this game, or even just individual defensive statistics. And I think, Mick, that's going to be the story is, can Alabama's defense, are they ready for Ole Miss's offense, right? That's going to be the main storyline. And I guarantee you that Lane Kiffin is licking his chops because That's what he likes to do. He feels that he's going to be the first coach to the first former assistant to defeat Nick Saban. I mean, he has a lot of confidence. He has a lot of swagger to him. He's the king of trolls on social media. And there's a reason he says that. It's because he has self-confidence. You're not just going to troll if you don't have self-confidence. And he has a quarterback that I think could be a major, major problem for Alabama. So, we'll kind of just see how that game unfolds. But when you look at the defensive statistics tonight, and I want to get your take inside the comment box as well. What did you think about the defense? I know it's against Southern Miss, but in terms of, execution, in terms of tackling, did you see missed tackles out there? Did you see missed assignments? Did you see players, coming up and fulfilling their responsibilities? Look, Southern Miss only scores, 14 points in this game, and I don't even know how much they rushed for. I have to look closer at the statistics, but nobody's saying anything about Pete Golding tonight, right? Nobody's even giving credit to the defense. So Jordan Battle up at the top, 7 tackles, DeMarco Helms 5 tackles, Christian Harris 5 tackles, William Anderson 5 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, continues to play like a man on a mission. I even heard some people, on the message board back at BamaInsider.com, they were like, get DeMarco Helms out and put Daniel Wright back in. So I want to get your take on this defense, and maybe we can digest that throughout the week, because they're going to have to be ready clearly, because Ole Miss and, with the quarterback that they got coming in, can be a major, major problem for this team, and especially the tempo. Tempo has always given Alabama fits. The tempo is coming to Bryant-Denny Stadium.
I mean, look, Lane Kiffin's going to do everything that you can possibly do to beat Alabama. He's good. His team's going to be prepared. He's going to know what Alabama's doing, and he's going to try to use tempo and, like you said, and try to spread guys out. And we'll see all different kind of things. He'll know the play before Alabama runs it, because he just knows it. But at the same time, the thing that I look back at with Florida was the 3 and outs that Alabama had on offense. The way that football's played now, the offense really has to help the defense by getting a first down or two, and not just throwing them back on the field. You watch games and there's a kickoff return for a touchdown, right? Like the Marshall game against App State the other night. And it was like, Marshall gave up a touchdown. They score one, but they put their defense back on the field. And I think it really cost them the game. Those guys get so winded. And it's just kind of the way that it's a track meet of a football game now. It almost reminds me of flag football, the way that the scoring is, and you have to be able to just keep up. So I feel like Alabama on defense will have a much better chance of stopping Ole Miss than Ole Miss's defense is going to have trying to stop Alabama on offense. And I think that's going to be, just looking at this matchup, that's the thing that sticks out to me the most. And now I could be wrong. Look, I don't think I am, but we'll find out right behind me next Saturday. And Arkansas, hey, they've proved me wrong. Look at the way that they've, kind of turned the corner this year. But so I'm not saying I'm like the prophet or anything, but I am saying, like, the big question mark that we have. I did go 3-1 on my picks today. The big question mark that we have, though, is Ole Miss's defense. Jock Jones, their best tackler, is in Kentucky. Right. They went out and they got all these other guys. They got a guy from Maryland. They got a guy from here and there, but they haven't played an offense like Alabama. And with Jamison Williams looking like Javi Arenas back there returning kicks, this is kind of, what was his name? Christian Jones, another guy that used to take it to the house all the time. Like, this guy right here, I know it's one game, but it was a difference maker in this game. That's something else that Ole Miss is looking at going, oh boy, we're going to have to deal with this now.
Yeah, I wanted to pipe in another Saban clip, and he's talking about kind of the progress of the defense. So let's kind of get to that. I think that's at around the 5-minute mark. You can watch the full press conference right now on our YouTube channel, or after we break out from the post game. But here's Nick Saban talking about the defense.
Those 2 guys are a big part of our offense.
We'll go to Mike Rodak. What sort of progress did you see the defense make compared to last week?
Look, I don't think the defense played with great poise the last 40 minutes of the game last week. I think guys got frustrated. I think they let the momentum of the game sort of get to them a little bit. And, I think the thing we did today is we kept our poise. We kept playing the next play. We competed well in the game. They did some things like always, it seems that, we hadn't practiced in terms of a lot of the orbit motion and the options coming off of it. So we made some adjustments to that at halftime. We played better. I still think there's some third down situations that we need to clean up and get better at. And obviously, we were challenged to a larger degree a week ago. Not that we don't have all the respect in the world for Southern Miss and their players, but, we played against a lot of good players last week, and we didn't play as well as we want. And I think the players responded to it very well today.
Yeah. Oh, Kyle, look, the first thing is that Nick Saban's fashion always makes me laugh. I'm not a big fan of that look right there. The white with is that like a polo with sleeves underneath of it?
No. It looks like that. But I was thinking the same thing. But I think it's a jacket, right? I think it's a zip up.
Okay.
Certainly, I don't think he's rocking like a long sleeve and then like the polo over it.
Would you look at his face right now on that screen? Would you want him giving you that look in a meeting?
Hell no. No way. You'd be so mad. Yeah.
I love this guy though. I do. He's the GOAT, man. I mean, like he just is the GOAT. Like
Look, this is the thing that, like, okay, let's kind of switch gears right now.
Okay.
And talk about just college football in general before we break out. Hey, thank you very much for watching us tonight. We appreciate you guys. You can watch all the press conferences, but let's kind of just go around college football, right? Because I want to point out something, okay? Alabama versus Southern Miss. We knew before this game, nobody even wanted to talk about Southern Miss, and I kept on trying to talk about Southern Miss, and it didn't really work. Because everyone's talking about Ole Miss, but I knew that Alabama would beat Southern Miss this bad. I said 52-7, right? I felt that they, scored one too many touchdowns. But you kind of go around college football. Alabama doesn't have these games that the rest of college football has, right? Texas A&M, I know they lost today, but they had that game against Colorado. Someone said Jay in the comment box said that they're a paper tiger. I completely agree. You look at Auburn, they rushed the field after beating Georgia State. It's like they pulled down the goalposts. It's crazy. Like Alabama doesn't have those games. I mean, it would be like, them going toe to toe with the Mercer or something like that. That's not going to happen. Help me out. Where are some other
look, Clemson. I mean, let's talk about Clemson. The dynasty's gone. I mean, look, they almost lost to Georgia Tech. They got beat today by NC State. They can't score on offense. Their offensive line isn't any good. They're not going to win many games this year. I mean, like they're going to win some, but they're not. This isn't a playoff team. Let me put it like that. Alabama hasn't had a season like that. They've been beaten, but the years that they've been beaten, they've been beaten by good teams.
Yeah.
Like Georgia Tech didn't beat Clemson, but Alabama doesn't have. I mean, they don't have those type of games. It's what your point is, right?
Yeah,
they struggle against good teams.
They don't. I mean, Alabama and now you look to Georgia and they beat Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt. Come on, like we expected that. And Georgia so far, I mean, besides the Clemson game, which doesn't look like an impressive win now. What did they beat Clemson by? Wasn't it like 10-7? It was like a pitcher's duel or something like that.
Right.
Look, and here's my points again. I'm going to the scores. Oklahoma 16, West Virginia 13. Oklahoma's the number 4 team in the country. Like, I don't even think they'd be the number 4 team in the SEC. Right? Yeah. You can go down the list. I mean, I guess Penn State, maybe they have a little bit of a stronger heartbeat. I mean, Ohio State, I mean, they got beat by Oregon. I think Oregon's a good team. I don't know how good they are. Florida beat Tennessee 38-14. And then Notre Dame, don't let that score fool you, 41-13. I mean, it was going to be the first one who walked the batter in from third base. That game was rough. That quarterback from Wisconsin, he might. Oh my goodness, poor dude. Did you watch that game?
Of course, that was one of my games I took. I took Notre Dame, but what the funny part is that Wisconsin let Cohen go to Notre Dame to keep Mertz. And watching that game today, they probably should have let Mertz go to Notre Dame and kept Cohen. I mean, Cohen got his finger dislocated last week, popped it back in. He led those guys. He's throwing the football around. But I mean, if you look at the score, you would think that it was a blowout. Wisconsin got blown out at the end by mistakes, but it was a close game. I know what you're saying. Georgia and Alabama right now are on a collision course, and it may be a two-game collision course. But Alabama's got to take care of business, and the best part about it is that we get to talk about a real matchup next week against Ole Miss. And Lane Kiffin is going to give us, Kyle, all kind of things to talk about. And we're going to do that. We're going to talk about it tomorrow night at 6 o'clock when we have our call-in show. We're going to do it on Monday night when we do Monday Night Quarterback. We're going to do it on Tuesday. We're going to do it on Wednesday. We're going to do it on Thursday, Friday, back with the Bama Insider Tailgate Show all week long. You're going to have all of the press conferences on this site. Are you going to put some Lane Kiffin press conferences on the site, Kyle?
Hell yeah, we're going to do that. Yeah,
hell yeah, you're going to put them on there. We're going to have them all right here on the site. And there's last year's score. Look at that, 63-48 last year. I don't think Ole Miss is going to score 48 this year.
I mean, look, Mac Jones. Look at Mac Jones in this game. My goodness, 28 of 32, 417 with 2 touchdowns.
Yep, and you know what my prediction is?
Look
my
at
hot take.
Whoa!
You ready for my hot take? My hot take is that Bryce Young will have better numbers than that.
Whoa! Then Mac Jones last year in that game.
Just get ready. Get ready.
Look at those numbers that were crazy. Look at these numbers by Matt Corral last year: 21 and 28, 365, 2 touchdowns. Look at the rushing. See, this is the thing that scares me right here, and I think this should scare you as well, right? I'm not trying to play, trying to scare you before you go to sleep.
Don't frighten me. I'm really high up right now.
But look at this. This is concerning because when you look back to this game. So you have 248 yards between those guys, and you add on Matt Corral's 40 additional yards, right? That is scary because I think what Lane Kiffin's going to do is he's going to try to run the football once again with that up-tempo offense, and that's similar to what Florida did, right? Yeah.
That's what he's going to try to do.
I wasn't trying to scare you before we went to sleep, but
I know, man. No, I'm not scared. I think that the unit that needs to be scared is Ole Miss's defense. We know what Alabama's defense is. They ran into some trouble against Florida, but they also made a lot of plays against Florida. And they're going to play Ole Miss. Alabama's offense, I think, is just as good, and they got a better defense. We'll be previewing this thing all week long, man. All week long. All right, any final thoughts, Kyle, before we pack it up for the night? Hey, and guys, as you hang out, thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell. And that's how you say Roll Tide to us. It's free. We've had a great time talking Alabama football from outside of the stadium tonight. Kyle, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Jaleel Billingsley is back. I mean, I've said it. I said it 4 days ago. If you follow me on Twitter, I said that, expect more Jaleel Billingsley. There's no way that you can keep him out of the rotation. I think he's a big-time playmaker. I expect him to be clutch down the stretch. Jamison Williams, clearly, running down the field like Rocket Ishmael. Devin Hester, whoever you want to do. I mean, the guy is fast. It looks like he gets faster with every single stride. We'll have his press conference up. You can watch Bryce Young's press conference. I mean, 5 touchdowns. He has 15 touchdowns and 1 interception through the first 4 games of the season. Not bad for a first-year starter. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would have wished he would have ran more tonight. Just kidding. That was kind of the thing. They're like, run the ball more, Bryce, run the ball. He's like, the dude is unbelievable, man. Just let him do his thing. It's like the numbers that he has are crazy. So just let Bryce be Bryce. And just like Coach P says, Honorary Uso, Bryce too nice. Final thought is this team, I still think they're unbeatable. I think this is a team to beat in college football. I know everyone's talking Georgia. Everyone wants to see what Ole Miss can do. But Vegas didn't build those casinos out of losing. 17.5-point favorite. I don't know if Alabama's going to cover 17, but Alabama, that's the team to beat. We're starting to see this team gel, more cohesiveness. Big win tonight against Southern Miss from beautiful Bryant-Denny Stadium.
All right, Kyle, look, my final thought is this. The West is in shambles right now. The West in the SEC is in shambles. Auburn got out of their game with Georgia State, by the skin of their teeth. I watched the game, the end of it, and the officials basically set them up with a play at the end of that game so that they wouldn't lose. They would have lost if it wouldn't have been for that play. Even the Auburn fans were like, okay, well, we'll take that, good for them, right? But they're not good. LSU, I watched them in Mississippi State. Mississippi State played, and I don't mean like played football, just played around. But finally, they got it going, but it was too late. Two not so good teams, right? I watched Arkansas, and I watched Texas A&M, and I realized that Arkansas is legit, and it's because they're mean and physical up front. Their lines are good. Their quarterback was injured in this game, but I'll tell you what, I really like that guy too. He's a force.
Yeah.
And I also learned that Alabama is Alabama. And if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to really bring your best game. I mean, they're not going to give it to you. And we're going to find out next week when Alabama plays Ole Miss. One of our callers talked about it tonight. He said, that this could be for the West and this could be for the Heisman. I don't know if it is or not, but next Saturday night, right behind me at Bryant-Denny Stadium, it is going to be electric, and it is going to be a showdown. And if you go to the game and you got tickets, you need to be ready to make a lot of noise. Don't be sitting on your hands. You need to be bringing the noise, just like Public Enemy said years ago, and just like Florida did to Alabama last week. Everybody needs to be out there making a lot of noise. All right, Kyle. We done?
Yeah, I think that's good, man.
Is that it?
I think that's good for week 4 of the college football season. Hey, that beautiful shot of you at Westgate. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, the stadium's right behind you.
Move out of the way.
you could seriously get popcorn thrown to you from Bryant-Denny Stadium. So I love the setup. You guys did a great job. Thank you so much for watching us. Go back and watch Nick Saban's press conference. Go back and watch Bryce Young. We got Trey uploading Jameson Williams' press conference. Tons more coverage back at BamaInsider.com. We'll be back tomorrow night, the night after, and the night after that. And, of course, Monday through Friday, you can catch a Jay Barker show right here on our YouTube channel, 12 to 2 p.m. He had Trent Richardson on just the other day on Friday. He had some really good takes, so you don't want to miss that stuff. Like, subscribe. We appreciate you, fam, more than you know. Thank you very much for sticking with us. And Coach P will be back with us this week to break down this game. So I know you missed him, but, thank you very much for following us. Mick, close it out.
All right, look, special thanks, Chris Daughtry, Trey Yanity, my partner up here, you, Kyle Henderson. I'm Mick Gillespie, for our entire crew from right outside of Bryant-Denny Stadium and from the Sky Deck that belongs to Westgate Luxury Condominiums. Living in the lap of luxury. I feel like the Jeffersons right now because I'm moving on up, but we're closing it out tonight. Hey, guys, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Roll Tide.